So starting a new color at the beginning of a row is actually pretty straightforward. First you'll want to cut your yarn maybe a little bit longer than this. This might have been too short, but it's always easier to cut it too long and then trim it later. But you want a good length of yarn, something that would is about 5 stitches long or so. It's hard to guess that at first, how much you need. So just cut it kind of longer, like I said, maybe a little longer than this, and you'll be okay. And so to start, you're going to go pretty much how you would just start a new row regularly. So make sure your cut yarn is kind of down, and you may even find that you could just hold on to it just a little bit, and then you just start knitting like you normally would. Insert your yarn in, and this is where it gets a little tricky. You kind of pinch this yarn until you can get and hold this kind of securely until you can get your new yarn, and you're just gonna kind of leave about the same length that you left hanging for this, about the same or so. And then you are just going to kind of you want to hold this yarn maybe back in here. It's a little tricky to get this all set up. So then now you're kind of holding the new yarn in the back, and then you use, now this yarn is just like you were using before as if to knit. So you wrap your yarn around and then pull it through, and this is where things can get a little, pull it off the needle, and this is where it can get a little loose and tricky. So you might have, see I've already made it kind of crazy here. So what you can do is kind of hold your needles a little bit together and then just tug down that the short end of each of the short ends of the yarn, and kind of just tighten that up a little bit. And it'll be easier to do after you do a couple stitches. And you want to make sure to keep the tail pretty long, because you'll find if you pull on it too much, it'll get too short. So you want to keep it long, and then go ahead and knit a couple stitches. It'll be easier to tighten up those ends when you get a few stitches in. Oh, I've already... So then once you have a few stitches, then it's really easy to kind of tighten these up, and then you're good to go, and you can just keep knitting on from here.